on? Hey, everybody. Guess we are. Oh, how are ya? It's me, Leslie the Little Plastic, Zazoo Plazz, here for my weekly report, March 30th, 2025. Whoa. Here it is, the new moon in Aries. And look, the socks for the week. They're my pug life. See, it says pug life. And I've got these little pug thugs with dollar bills, because that's, I'm manifesting today. I'm writing out my new moon check with all the stuff that I want to manifest, because it's the new moon. Plus, there's stuff going on with the North Node and the conjunct the Sun. It's an eclipse, and Venus and Mercury are retrograde, and stuff is going. Neptune is going into Aries or something, and anyway, it's like the way I am with astrology. I'm intuitive about it. If I try to use my brain to comprehend astrology, my brain would explode. But my mother, she was different. My mother was an astrologer. For those of you, welcome to those of you to the Zazoo Report. For those of you who are new here, I have a unique. It's welcome to my kitchen. I have a lot of food and cooking themes, and the way a lot of stuff comes through me. It's like I throw it in a big stew pot, a little bit of my Catholic upbringing, a little bit of my woo-woo astrology, because my mother was an astrologer and she was into all that woo-woo stuff. As an older hippie, when I was growing up, in the 70s and stuff. So that influenced me. And there's a lot of other stuff that I just wonder about, I'm curious about. Plus, I'm a mom to, now they're 20 somethings, 21 and 24, two Gen Z sons, and having been, uh, all those things. I'm on a journey to really figure out what it is I'm here to do. Who am I as a person? This is an Aries theme, identity, right? Not identity like I identify. No, it's 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 down to who am I expressing in the world at? What is my divine? You know, to, God has. It's almost like you know you would see those. No, I'd see like in the not eclipses, but like you could take a piece of paper or colored. Yeah, like when you're kids, and we would make those tissue paper like stained glass windows, and you'd put tissue paper in, and you put it through in a light or up to the sun, and it would shine through. And so that's like God, right? Divine. And the what it would shine through such that all the different colors would express differently, right? And you would see all those brilliant colors. Or if you look at a crystal, right? And I've got several. And when they come in, the sun comes in at different angles and hits the crystal. It's the prism, right? I have some with all different color, like little crystal hearts. And when it hits, each one of those little crystals activates. The sun comes through and makes an orange heart and a green heart and a brown. So, and then the effect of all of them hitting at the same place is really magnificent. So that's the theme that I'm trying to, well, there's a couple themes today. Where the heck did I start off? Oh, the stew. In other words, so this is what I do. See, I throw a bunch of things in, stir it all up and serve it to you here on YouTube every week. And then I do my little videos, and I post photos and tell stories on Facebook. I also have a website, zazooplazz.com. Please visit me there. and I'm going to start doing more with that. I have just let it be. It's my book website, actually. I set it up for my book so that I can tell people to go there. It's got everything, all my stuff is on there, and I do update it with my videos, and I've got a blog post. I haven't done much with the blog just because I've been busy living my life, and I've been, you know. And the other thing is that I express my Zazoo Plazziness through my real life. So what I do here is I also sell, I tell stories. I give you a little glimpse into my life, the things that work, the things that don't, and they're all funny. In the end, it's a very pleasant, flavorful soup, and I hope you enjoy it, and that you come away uplifted and nourished and laughing and smiling, or at least smiling, or at least going, "Oh my gosh, my life isn't so. My life is pretty good. At least I didn't do that." That's the flavor, okay, folks. That's my that's what I have to offer the world. You know, I'll leave you feeling somewhat um, somewhat better off for having encountered me and my energy. Okay, get to it. Okay, all right. The returning people are getting restless. My 17 followers. Um, okay. All right. So we say, yeah, the new moon eclipse. It's a big deal. Make your intentions. Um, so I'll tell. What I usually do is I start off with my little stories for the week. I got my new water filter after my son broke off the other one. He was, to his credit, my older son, the Virgo. He was trying to fix it, and he didn't realize how, it was on there pretty flimsily, and I discovered why. So he's like, "Oh, Mom, why do you have this rubber band over the thing? It's like it screws onto your water faucet. See, because the water here, it wasn't filtered. It just didn't taste good. And I've had a filter working kind of well, but all of a sudden, so what happened was, I think they sell these canisters, the stainless steel ones, these filters. They're cheap. You get replacements. They're only supposed to last two to 4 months. All right, I had it on there since August, so that was more than. What I did was, there are two little thingies that stick out from the bottom of the filter, and they don't really show you. Well, they do on the diagram, but I never look at the diagram. My former spouse, he always reads the book. I know you're laughing over there because you know me. I never look at the damn diagram. I just stick it on there. Who has time for that? Okay. So, bottom line, I had the little prong thingies stuck in the wrong holes. And the water was going out the place. And it got up in the little top of the thing, and it didn't drain down because I had things. Usually the water drains down if you have it in the right hole. But I had it in the wrong hole, so the water was going right up back through the filter, and sloshing around in there, and then it was kind of coming out the sides. So it's all better now. It's fixed. I fixed it. Okay, I fixed it. It's all good. And then the light bulb blew out today, so I had to get up there, and I put, and it's got one of those things you gotta. I should have had my son do it because it was all week. It's been going like this, flashing. And he's over 6 feet, so he wouldn't even have needed the little bench. I had to get my workout bench over there and get up on there. And then it didn't come off right away, and I had to take a little, screwdriver thingy and pry it under like the guy in the YouTube video. And so I finally get it, and I replaced one of the light bulbs, and I screwed it back, and I'm all proud of myself because the damn thing is up there and it's not falling down. And then I look at it, and they're two different light bulbs. Like the ones I got at the job lot or the white. It said soft white, but it's like a real white, and the other one is kind of like a yellowy white, and it's driving me nuts. So I'm looking at the two of them, and they're two different. I'm like, is this going to absolutely drive me up the wall? Because I noticed these things, and all the other ones are the same. That one, I should have replaced both of them. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, so that's the thing that's driving me up the wall this week. I made some clam chowder though, so I'm gonna have some of that. Um, Chowder. There was a show called Chowder that my boys used to watch. I don't know if it's still on. It was this little purple guy with like a pointy hat. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, and let's see. Oh, so we found out that, yep, my kid's graduating UConn. Our kid, the younger one, the Aries, in May. So and so I put out a family text. I'm like, you know, I found out we can invite up to 10 people. So I'm like, oh, you want to invite Papa? And I put it out there, and I hear nothing. It's crickets. You know, you try to call the kid, and he doesn't. He's not there. You try to take this kid. He comes around. And I said, I know what's going to happen. If you're listening to his dad, you know what's going to happen. But see, my father, he's a Taurus. He's got to know what's going on like a month ahead of time, 2 months even. This kid, he'll get to the end of April and he'll say, "Oh, I got to get some tickets. I got to get the tickets." And they'll probably, if he waits till that long, maybe we won't get tickets. So that's why I'm right on it. I'm gonna ride him on this until he gets it done. It's Mercury retrograde. Like, we got it. Now, me, I would have bought the tickets the first day. I'm like, I can't buy them because he's the student. He has to go. So I put a link in the family text. Here's where you go and buy your tickets. Hint, hint. Would you like to invite Papa, your grandfather, because he would love to come? So I put it out there, and I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. And his birthday, I said, okay, so his birthday is middle of April. I said, okay, so and then Easter. I said, that's the time when, I'll see him. I sent him, I got him, I set up an e-card and, his gift card. I'm going to send him. I said, okay, that's the deadline because, I'll probably see him and then I can remind him in person to get the tickets. So it'll be that, it'll be done. It'll get done one way or the other. But see, you can't, when you have an Aries, and this all ties together, folks. You can't lead the horse to water. You can lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink. All right, that's the theme for the week. In other words, if you know human design, my kid's a manifester. I'm a manifesting generator, which means, you know, um, I kind of have to sort of wait for things to come to me, and then I can run with them. And I'm good. I'm good on, I can go, and I've got energy for things, but only for things that I'm really, that really get me, that make me passionate, right, about things. So I'm emotional. I'm an emotional based person. This kid, you know, he's a manifestor, meaning, like my dad. My dad is also a manifest. That means they do what they want and they let you know after they've decided what they're going to do. Maybe they'll let you know or after they've done it sometimes. But you can't tell these people what to do. My mother could never tell my dad. She could tell him, but that sometimes he would not do things and, and be smiling and because he was just going to do what he wanted, but he had to humor her. So, because she kept things moving. She's like me. She was, manifesting Jennifer. She was the one to get the brilliant ideas and, keep things moving, can juggle all the plates and the balls in the air. She had she could she knew what to do to take care of people, right? But you can't tell somebody, you know, even if you know what's best, that you think, even if you love them, right? You know what's best, but you have to let them go, and then they come around. Maybe they come around, but it has to be up to them. So this is the theme for today. Came around to that. Joshua. Okay, it's about time. Okay. Um, let's see, Joshua, the prophet. Yeah, so it talks about the Israelites in the Old Testament crossing the Jordan River from into the new land, Canaan. From the old land to the new land, which I think kind of fits because we're crossing over into a new land now, aren't we? We're going into a new. Neptune is going into a new sign. Um, Starting not only a new sign but a new cycle, which, from what I understand, hasn't happened in like 160 years or something like that. I don't know. So this is a thing. This is cross. We're in new territory here. Um, so it's across the Jordan River to Gilgal, which means rolling away. And they're coming out of slavery in Egypt, and they get there, and they have the unleavened cakes, and then the next day they eat. It says from the bounty of the land, and the manna ceased. So they're crossing over. In other words, from the old way, which has it was flat, to a new way, which is bounty, abundance, plenty, right? So it's kind of symbolic. Those of us who are connected to these spiritual things, it's going to be a new. In other words, we won't have to be worried about where is our sustenance coming from, because once you believe that there's unlimited abundance, that faith is what makes it grow, right? In Aries season, we have to tear rake up the soil, right? And then you plant. You don't plant on the hard earth from the winter that's all frozen. It's all solid. It's just not gonna. It's hard. It's lifeless, right? Not lifeless, but it has potential. But first, you have to get rid of the weeds and the old leaves and the old crap, right? To allow for the new growth. So this is it. This is the time where we are. Um, let's see, taste and see the goodness of the word. My mother-in-law said that the day my older son was born. Never forget that. She came with all kinds of balloons and stuff, and she was praising the Lord and everything. Meanwhile, I was I was recovering from the whole ordeal for the first time. Anyway, you moms out there, you know what I'm talking about. So it talks about affirming that you're thankful to God for delivering what you want, even if you haven't seen it yet. In other words, they came over, they're eating manna, right? They're eating the little flakes, and they're it's like when you go on vacation, right? And you fly in, and your first night you haven't been to Disney, to the parks yet, right? Or wherever you're going. You haven't been to the beach. You get in, it's late, you're just gonna eat whatever, right? Or you're at the airport, you're just gonna eat just to sustain you. But it's not the five-star restaurant that you want to go to, or it's not your big event, right? But you're just gonna eat something and then you go to bed, right? you know? Um, Yeah, but it's got to be something comforting. Like 3 years ago, I just want to say this. I went to Tucson, Arizona, and my plane had problems. Whatever, my flight was delayed. That first night, I actually got the airline because there was a hole in the plane, and my plans got delayed, and I got stranded at the Tucson airport. I asked them, the airline. They gave me pass free dinner at this little restaurant next door to the hotel, and they put me up at a hotel for the night till like the next day I could get on with my original plans. I went up to Mount Lemon, which is a big mountain here in Tucson. But anyway, uh, that'll be in the next book, I think. Some of that adventure, not all of it, little pieces. So what I mean is, I went over next door. I was starving. It was 8 o'clock at night, but I had what they had. I had a nice tostada, and I enjoyed. But it wasn't like the biggest, grandest meal, but it was comforting. And it was what they had before the grill closed or whatever. And I ate by myself, and it was good. And I was thankful, and I didn't have to pay for it. So there we go. So see what I mean? It's that kind of flavor, right? And you find something every day to be happy about, to be thrilled about, right? And you keep affirming that, and then that builds, right? The momentum of that thankfulness, that joy, it just builds, right? Even if your mind, you have a tendency to say, but it's not that. No, don't say that, because where you are, it's good. It's always good. And when you know that wherever you find yourself, it'll be good, it will be good. It's your expectation, right, that you need to change, your attitude, right? And then other people, that's why taste and see. In other words, whatever you're tasting, whatever you're sensing, God is good. God is good. God is good here. God is good here. See? All right. So, yeah. Okay. So the second letter of Corinthians, Paul is calling Jesus the Christ. It's assumed he's Christ. Christ is really what it is. It means Messiah, but it really means sort of that bridge between how each of us, like I said with the stained glass, how each of us reflects that divine light, a unified state of consciousness that we all belong to, and we all experience in different ways. We all reflect a different light. And it's not for us to judge this one's light is better than that. No, it's your light. You can't shine that person's light. That's their light. You wouldn't want to. But it's not even for us to judge that other person's light, right? How they're reflecting it or how they're blocking it, right? Some if you can't see it, that means it's blocked. It's blocked by something. There's a big piece of black construction paper in front of it. If you take that off, then everybody's shining their light and it's beautiful, right? So, um, so okay, so we're talking about being. It says that. Okay, so God reconciled the world to Him through Christ. In other words, um, you know, when Christ, Jesus became, was the bridge from that old world, that old, Adam kind of fallen world where we were separated from, from that light, from that source, right? So now, and God's not judging us. God is like that, you know, God is we're talking about the prodigal son today. That's the story. In other words, no judgment, right? No judgment. It's okay, when we come to our senses and we get rid of that piece of black construction paper, then we shine again. And that's when we get the full, we get the full vacation, the full benefit, right? And that's when we start reaping from the land that which we've sown, right? Because not all of us, we've done some good stuff and maybe not good or bad, but we've done some stuff that brought us closer to God, and we've had moments of heaven, and then we've done some stuff that has taken us farther away from our source, from the source. See, and that's where we get this version of sin or hell. It's just in the moment. Are we feeling joy? Are we feeling unconditional love? Or are we feeling, you know, but it's not to be judged. It's just a perception, closer or farther away. So anyway, I don't have time for to get into it too much. But it's talking about being ambassadors for Christ. So in other words, we shine by shining as brightly as we can. Other people will see that and it will draw them to us, and it will be their, will give them hope and a reason to come over, to come back to that, their highest selves. See, to that light that they've been away from through their own, I don't know, through their own uh, choice. I guess we could say each person has a choice, right? So, and we get the prodigal son. You know the story where the younger son goes, gets his, there's two sons, the older one, the younger one. Does this sound familiar? I got two sons. And the younger one is like the Aries, I'm going to go off, take all my dad's money that's coming to me, and I'm going to go off, I'm going to party, and I'm going to, blows all the money. So anyway, this story, and then a famine hits the country where he is, and he comes back. He's feeding the pigs, and he can't even eat. He's hungry. He says, "Gee, I had it pretty well back at home. How many kids are doing this today?" So then he comes back, and the father sees him coming and gets all excited and throws him a party and kills the fatted calf. And the other brother is jealous and says, "I've always been here. I never had a goat to celebrate with my friends." All this. The father says, "No, you've always been with me, but this one was gone and now he's come back." So that was the story. And so the thing is that Jesus told the story because the Pharisees, who were like the older son, were complaining that Jesus was eating with these tax collectors, you know, these these not so reputable people, right? Which is what he was. That's who he should have been hanging out because they needed him, right? There goes the fridge. They were the ones, okay? So, but he didn't care what the Pharisees, because they were hypocrites, right? They were judgmental. They were up on their, soapboxes. You and your stars. Anyway, there was some spiritual ego going on with the Pharisees, right? They thought they were so high and mighty because they obeyed all the laws. Those people. And this is particularly relevant when we're living in a divisive time. Those people over there are bad. These people over here are good. Can you see what I mean? So this is what we're talking about. So, yeah. So, right. So the younger son, right? He had real humility. He had real sorrow for what he had done. And he went through the dark night of the soul, and he came back from that dark place, and told his father how very sorry he was, and the father forgave him. Right? All those things he did, he didn't judge him. He was just happy that he was home. Right? So Jesus came to bring home those straying sheep, rounding them all up for the big party. Right? The more the merrier. But he didn't go out and get them. They come back. They had to come back. That younger son had to come back through his own devices. He can't, now I'm going to go over again. But that's the important part. So here, okay, 4 seconds and I'm going to come back. Come back for the song. Wait, what's the song? Ozzy Osbourne, Mama, I'm Coming Home. Yeah, released February of 92 in the US, 11/17/91 in the UK. Perfect song. It's going to switch off. So I'm going to let it switch off, and then I'm going to come back and talk about the song for a couple minutes. I'm back. Couple extra minutes. I want to talk about the song of the week, Ozzy Osbourne, "Mama, I'm Coming Home." So, uh, yeah. So this song wasn't Ozzy sang it, but I guess His name was Lemmy Kill Mister. Lemmy Kill Mister. No, Lemmy. That's his name. Lemmy Kill Mister. You can't make this stuff up. Um, okay. So he wrote the lyrics, Lemmy. First on a piano and then later on the guitar. But so he wrote it, he played it for Ozzy. And this guy, Zach Wild, Zach with two Ks, Wild. Zach Wild, that's my son's name is Zach, and he's pretty wild. Um, so anyway, uh, this guy, let's see, he's actually a Gen Xer. He was born January 67. Zach Wild, he I don't know. The lyrics, Eric Kilmis. Oh, Zach Wild did the song. He did the. Oh, he's the one. Okay, so Lemmy Kilmister wrote the lyrics, and Zach Wild was the one who did the song arrangement with Ozzy too, but he mostly just sang it. But what a voice! Apparently, Ozzy was voted. The Rolling Stone voted him number 112 out of 200 of greatest singers of all rock singers of all time in 2023. He's got a very he's got a unique voice. Yeah, I like his music. This was his only solo top 40, number 28 on the Billboard. Went to number 2 on the rock tracks Billboard, but um, yeah, this song, Ozzy, who was with Black Sabbath, was called the Prince of Darkness, I guess. This heavy metal band. Um, and he was fired for doing too, let's just say he was distracted by Neptunian um, indulgences, you know. Uh, but, no judgment here. I'm just reporting, but because I think this is a perfect example, this song. Um, and talk about being going to dark places and coming back. That's why I chose the song because it's perfect. Um, yeah, so you know, there's two videos. But the song, first of all, some of the lyrics are just so perfect. "Mama, I'm coming home." Apparently, he was raised. Okay, so he's British. His mom was a non-observant Catholic, um, and but it. So his wife, I guess his wife. So you could say that "Mama, I'm coming home." In the video, he's got a cross on. You know, so you got to think that most songs usually have a religious or a spiritual component, right? And so there's that, and the song that inspired him to become a rock star was "She Loves You" by the Beatles. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so really, I guess Mama could be, his wife Sharon, who he was married to, and it's about him coming back to her after she lost him to drinking and all these other substances that he was doing. And so he talks about seeing her face. For whatever reason, he got to a point where he really wanted to make a change, right? So this was, so his, you know, she, people who go through this sometimes they have a motivation that comes from their soul, from their heart. Um, it's a passion that they decide they want to make a change, and they do it, right? Nobody can really make, people can save people. They have to save themselves, right? So this is one of those kind of songs. Interpret it, as you will, but that's what I got out of it. I'm not going to get too much into this, but just to say that the video, there's two videos. I'm going to post both links down there. One was kind of a surreal real thing. He didn't like it because the plot didn't really match up with the song. It's kind of it's kind of sort of like a Beatles type of thing, sort of moving along the screen. And the second one, though, it's sort of like this hazy smoke screen. It's the same guy, Bayer, who did the Teen Spirit Nirvana video. And this one is, it's got like this smoky screen, and he's got the cross, and it's really good. So yeah, I agree. The second video is more relevant, right? So there's fire, there's smoke, there's you know black clothing and all kinds of stuff. Uh, so it's a homecoming. So that's I'm not going to get too much into this now. But anyway, so there's that, and so I hope you enjoy the music and the videos, and I hope, uh, yeah, you enjoy the new moon Aries partial solar eclipse that just happened. You know, hope it's good for you, and you can harness that energy and come home to a new beginning, exciting new times. And so I'm gonna go have my hot chocolate, my paleo hot chocolate, and then later I'll have my chowder, clam chowder. So until next week, uh, see you in it. Same place, different time. Take care. Zazoo signing out.